What's going on, everyone? ODC, that's me here. In today's review, we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Pursuit of Cobra Jungle Assault Recondo. This is, I want to say, one of the highlight figures from the Pursuit of Cobra line. To me, the Pursuit of Cobra line was something very special that came out that gave us the updated, modernized look that we needed, that really went a different direction as far as what we were used to with the 25th anniversary line and even going into Rise of Cobra. But Pursuit of Cobra, I feel like what was kind of a missed opportunity on Hasbro's part as to what pretty much Pursuit of Cobra and the 30th anniversary line, those two were pretty much, to me, always the same, around the same line, seeing as it kind of continued throughout that. And even some sprinkling of some Pursuit of Cobra themes going into the 50th anniversary line. But really, the overall designs were well done, a much-needed modernized update for each character. Each character had a specific theme behind it, which was pretty cool. There was a Jungle Assault, Arctic, City. So it was pretty well done. I think they could have went further with that. And I feel like it would have been nice to finally get maybe a movie based on Pursuit of Cobra. And you know what? It's still not too late to do that. I feel like whether it was either a comic book series or a movie series, whether it be animated or live action, I feel like Pursuit of Cobra could still be something that they turn into a major story. And there's a lot of there's a lot of cool characters within the new designs that we got, and even a particular cool character in Shadow Tracker that I am quite fond of. And I feel like they really dropped the ball on that character. And I don't want to go on ranting about it, but it's just something I really wanted to point out, and something that maybe a lot of people haven't talked about as far as the Pursuit of Cobra line. And I'll tell you what, man, I can go on all day talking about the Pursuit of Cobra line, because it's just one of my favorite toy lines that came out, as far as whether it's G.I. Joe or anything is considered. So, but with that, we're talking about Recondo today, and he comes with a lot of really cool things. There's things that he can, and there's things that he can't do. But we're going to get into that in here. As we can see, we have the file card right here, and pretty much talks about Recondo and gives you a nice little backstory. So I'm pretty sure you guys can read that if you want to, but I'll sum it up. Basically talks about his gear, how he uses his claw jays to trap Cobra troopers, and explains why he has this solar-powered backpack. It's to, but we'll get to that once we get to the backpack. But it kind of just explains that he's the G.I. Joe's expert jungle combat survival guy. He's their guy. I would say if you team him up with Spirit, you've got a pretty good duo there, dynamic duo as far as leading a jungle assault. If you really wanted to get serious with it, I think would have been a nice little touch if down the road, if Pursuit of Cobra did continue, and we did continue each different theme within Pursuit of Cobra, I feel like an updated version of Pathfinder would have made sense for a jungle assault. Maybe give him, obviously, some updated, more realistic looking gear instead of, technically a weed whacker / weed eater, whichever term you like to coin said tool. But give him something else a little bit different. And not to say that those designs were horrible. I don't know. An updated design for him, I think, would have worked better. But anyway, I digress. I'm going off on tangents here, and I shouldn't. Talking about the figure here, he looks pretty good. I like the traditional look for him with the hat. How he does have the very Australian style hat. Looks really good. And I do have him kind of all geared up here. I do have his one Tomahawk on the hooked up to the backpack, just simply because I know there's a peg hole right there, and it should go there like this one is, but it just kind of gets in the way of the articulation, and it doesn't want to stay pegged in all that well. So I kind of just threw it on that side. Now there is a peg the size of this that will fit on for this side, but if you switch around to the other side and try to put it on the backpack, let's just try that. I was trying to put it in the larger hole earlier, but it wasn't seeming to line up properly, and then it wasn't also lining up with the peg is oh my god. every time I start shooting a review, he starts acting like that. Unbelievable. But as you can see here, and now I'm even having issues. There we go. I got it pegged back in. These are technically where the Tomahawks are supposed to go. I just don't necessarily like them sitting there like that. But yeah, it looks good anyway, either way. The backpack itself has some really nice paint and detail. Looks really good. Oh my god. I'm going to have to go shut the door. Every time. Every time. Okay. Sorry about that rude interruption. But the backpack has some really nice sculpted detail. I really like what they did here with the silver going throughout. And this does have a gimmick to it, but you almost don't even notice the gimmick. Looks really good. I like the brown here mixed with the silver. Then we have his solar panels right here, and those are articulated. And now removing the backpack, I'm going to remove this Tomahawk here. Like I said, and I did want to point this out, the peg on this side is much smaller, which can fit onto the Tomahawk, one of his Tomahawks. The one on this side is a little bit too large, so you can't really, it doesn't really work well like that. So, if I can get this clipped back on, my lord. But, anywho, he does have a gimmick on his backpack, which I'm going to get to right now. And as you can see, this string right here, and you can remove this trap from that, like so. So if you want to have him maybe set the trap in his hand, I'll get this out of the way. If you wanted to have him set this trap just using his hands and not the backpack, you could also go that route. That's why this peg is actually sticking out of the side of the trap. And then you have this little peg right here on the backpack, and you simply just plug it in to the backpack. And then he has a drawstring, which actually, it goes out decently. I would say that you're probably going to want to, if you have this displayed like this, you're probably going to want to have this maybe hiding in the bushes somewhere. And then you can articulate his solar panels any which way you want to have them articulated, excuse me, just to give you a frame of reference of how long this actual string is. We'll bring in Spirit and we'll just kind of lay him down, and we'll go heel to the bottom of that. So it's about a little bit taller. I want to say about a figure. Let's go about a figure and a half long. So it's not the longest string necessarily, but here's the little gimmick on it. You press this little red piece right here, this little red button, and it just brings it back in. Now it does bring it back in so quickly that you can't, it doesn't necessarily keep the trap pinned in. So you're going to want to maybe... See, he had to come up here and start barking, didn't he? He's like, Dad, there's someone outside, Dad. Thanks for telling me, Oreo. I didn't need to know that. I didn't know there was a dog outside. But anywho. Oh, you gotta love them, don't you? Anyway, here's the backpack. Pretty cool looking. It, like I said, it is on a ball hinge or ball joint, excuse me, and they are articulated so they can swivel here, and they can kind of pivot a little bit. As you can see, I was pushing a little bit too hard there. They can kind of pivot a little bit side to side, but they can swivel and they can kind of move in and out just a little bit. So that's pretty cool. It's a nice little detail, and the blue is a translucent blue. I've actually seen some people say this is kind of like a hokey thing. It's kind of unnecessary for Recondo. I think it works. You know, it's a modern gadget that I think it can work well with him. So there's his backpack, and then we just have an extra. I want to call it a bear trap here. Technically, it should be on this side, so you want to see the foot peg right here. Hold on a second. You want to see that foot peg right there. So technically, what you want to have is you want to have it like this. Boom. And then, boom. There you go. This is really how you want to have it. I did have it originally the other way around, but I think it looks better like this with the peg sitting there. So, and how that works is as soon as someone comes walking around, let's get a Cobra in here. Here comes Mr. Lamprey, fresh off the boat, and he steps on it. And then, oh, it's my ankle. Oh, I broke it. Ow, my ankle. And then you prop it all the way up like that. That's really how you want to prop it. So he steps on it, and my hand is in the way, of course, naturally. And then it goes around his ankle like that, like so. This is not... That's the one thing that kind of bugs me about it, is that the hinges are so shallow that they don't necessarily always want to go around the figure's foot. But anywho, the other piece that he comes with, and I'm going to have to use my tweezers on this one because he is smaller, and now he's going to be even more obnoxious and want to come back upstairs. Because I'm done barking now, Dad. I'm going to come upstairs now and annoy you. Here is this cool little, kind of like a Tiki Mask. It's really cool. I would have liked some sort of backstory with this mask. Maybe it's to blend in with the locals. I don't know. Maybe he was a part of a tribe at one point. Maybe he's a friend, knows someone that made him a part of the tribe. I would have liked some sort of backstory with this little mask right here. It is a cool little detail, and you can actually fit this around his face, which we'll get to in a second. But I like the black in the middle of the mask, and then it's got some green in there, and the white eyes, and the open tongue, or open mouth with tongue, and then teeth at the bottom. Looks really good. Very nice sculpt with the to give it that wooden look too. So very well done. Nice little added bonus that they kind of threw in there to make him look and feel even a little bit more unique. And then up next we have his kind of assault rifle here. I'm not sure necessarily what this would be, but it is some sort of assault rifle. Maybe it looks kind of like an HK product. I'm not sure exactly what it would be, but it looks like an HK with a grenade launcher on it. So it looks pretty cool, and it's pretty much same detail on the other side, just a black plastic. And then we have his Tomahawks, which are very well done. Really like the gray. They decided to go, or silver, excuse me. They decided to go with this. I really like that a lot. And it's the same as the other side. So next up, I'll bring in the figure, and we'll just kind of show off his sniper rifle. Now, we have seen this sniper rifle before with a multitude of other figures. I actually do enjoy this sniper rifle. It looks kind of like a 50 cal as far as the snout looks. Normally, when I see 50 caliber sniper rifles, they usually have this snout on them. So that's what I like to think that he's got here. So it looks good. I really like the sculpt of the scope. I really like the added paint detail going throughout. The little wrap he's got here with some black paint detail going throughout. And then on the back of the stock too, looks really good. The rest is just pretty much like a black plastic, but I really do appreciate the paint details that went throughout the rest of the sniper rifle. The hat itself looks really nice. It's pretty much just like I'm going to say a grayish plastic, and then he's got a black painted, I guess you want to call that, I'm not sure what you'd call that part of the hat, but it's pretty nice looking, nice little paint detail for the, I want to say the ring around the hat. But the hat overall, I really like the sculpt. I don't have the 25th anniversary Recondo to compare him to, and my vintage Recondo is kind of put away, so I don't actually have him in my disposal right now to show you. But I'm going to bring him over here because the hat does cast quite the shadow over this gentleman. And I'm going to talk about the face sculpt here. Now, I wanted to see if he had a similar face sculpt to somebody else, and I don't think it's the same. At least I'm hoping it's not the same, and it's not. I kind of thought it was the same as Naugahyde, but to no avail, it is not the same as Naugahyde. Naugahyde kind of has a smirk and a kind of a Motorhead-looking mustache / beard. I believe these arm wraps were used later on down the road with the, I want to say, Outback from the Zombie Initiative. It wasn't. Now, I'm not talking about this wrap. I'm only talking about this wrap in particular. It might have been used on another figure as well. I'm not 100% sure, but the tack vest looks really good. I'm liking a lot of the paint detail. That's what you'll notice with a lot of Pursuit of Cobra figures is the amount of paint detail and the amount of tender love and care that really went into these figures. I actually really like this updated G.I. Joe logo. I think that's so much better than the 50th anniversary logo, which is that kind of like crappily painted star. Here we get this nice, beautiful logo. It's nice and multicolored, beautiful gold and black star. To continue on here, we've got some gold pieces painted right here. Look like little tabs or some sort like that. Then we get some different paint apps here for these pockets. That's nice. And then we have kind of this like, I want to say almost a white, kind of light khaki colored collar with the brown and this other shade of brown right here. And then we get this kind of maroon color here, which continues into the wrap. Different colors here. I mean, he's got a plethora of different colors here. And this little piece right here on his tack vest. Flipping around to the back, the detail continues. So really nice paint apps on this tack vest. It looks really good. Really helps him stand apart. And when, I mean, if I just saw this tack vest sitting around, let's say a fodder bin somewhere, maybe like a flea market, I'd be like, oh, that's Recondo's. Because I'd know by the sculpt and I'd know by the paint apps. He's got some little darts on his forearm. I like to think of those as some sort of maybe poisonous dart. But looks really good. And the continuation of the paint apps is continued throughout the rest of the body, throughout the legs. The knee pads look really good. There's a little bit of black paint detail going throughout his leg too. Little nice black paint shading going throughout these pieces of the leg, that piece of the leg up here towards the thigh. Continuing on to the rear end, we got some little bit of camo going throughout the rest of his attire here. Looks really good. The boots look nice. Nice leathery feel to them. Or look, I should say. Not, well, look and feel, I guess. Can get the feeling of he is wearing some advanced high weathered gear for the jungle. He is definitely prepared for the jungle. The face sculpt, like I said, looks pretty good. The only issue that I have, the major issue that this figure has, is that he's constantly looking down. That's everyone's gripe with it. It's kind of my little nitpick gripe with it, but it doesn't really take away from how good this figure is. You could re-Dremel the head and to get him to get it to sit on his head a little bit better, but I feel like it's almost the way the neck peg is angled. See how it's angled going instead of straight up? It's kind of going leaning forward. So I don't actually think it's the head. I actually think it's the body, the way the body is sculpted. So it's kind of like a body sculpt error. I'm really quick. I'm going to attempt to take his vest off, or at least show you some of the detail underneath. Here are some of the details underneath. We've got a nice little harness right here, harness rig going on. And it is sculpted, which is nice. And it does continue onto the back, which is pretty cool. So, and that's pretty much the harness. I'm not going to go ahead and take his vest off because it's just kind of a pain in the derriere to get off, to be honest with you. But that's, you know, I mean, that's pretty much Recondo right there. It really is. As far as Recondo's articulation here goes, let me just refocus my camera. There we are. The head does swivel full 360 rotation. And it, like I said, it can look up just a hair. That's what I mean by a hair. So the head can tilt side to side a little bit. Let's see, we got some job turkeys. Oh, we got a little job turkey up in there. And then the arms go up, down. They can do a full 360 rotation. He's got a single bend at the elbow. And he does have an elbow swivel. He actually has a better range of motion, I must say, in this arm than he does in this arm, because this arm, the sculpting of this wrap actually tends to get in the way of the bend. But it's not the worst thing in the world. I've definitely seen worse. And it's also something that we've seen with the Zombie Initiative Outback. Swivel at the wrist, and he does have a hinge. Oh, no hinge joint. Just swivels at the wrist. I thought there was a hinge joint there for a second. Is there a hinge joint on this side? Nope. Both swivels on his wrists on both sides. It does have a diaphragm joint that does spin, and you can pivot it side to side. There you go. T-jointed hips, which go out and forward. And they do go back a little bit. That's neutral. He does have double-jointed knees. He can point the toe a little bit. You can point the heel a little bit past neutral. That's neutral. And he does have a swivel. And that is pretty much Recondo. I gave you my little spiel, and he also comes with a display base that says Recondo. I gave you my little spiel about him, about the line in general. I'm not going to go ahead and repeat myself. I don't want to be redundant here, but I really like his gear. I think the other thing that I would kind of maybe complain about is the fact that he can't hold all of his gear. I am kind of a stickler when it comes to him not being able to hold all of his gear, but honestly, it's not really the worst thing in the world. It would have been nice if they included some more pegs onto the backpack for him to hold everything the way you want it to, but he does hold one bear trap. Oh, and here I wanted to show you this before I let you guys go. you can actually fit this mask on. What you want to do is you want to take that hat off first, and then you want to kind of plop the hat on after that. So, you know, now he's got kind of like a war mask, which is pretty awesome. I think that looks pretty cool. But that is Recondo with his more modern look, you know, and I'm very thankful that we got, and let me just put this gun in his hand as his hat keeps falling off. All of his guns fit in his hands, and he can two-hand all of his guns. Probably his hat's going to fall off again. No big deal. If this hat falling off really does bother you so much, you could always glue it to his head, and that's not a big deal. I actually would have preferred, I think, if the hat came sculpted to the head, but, you know, that's just my personal preference. But there's Recondo, and there's all of his gear, and I would definitely give this a 2 thumbs up. Definitely 2 thumbs up. Go out, get him. He is going for, I want to say, around the price point of $30 to $35 right now. I would definitely pull the trigger if he's mint on card for $30. The highest I would go, because I actually did, I believe I purchased this Recondo a couple years ago around the $20 price point. I would spend $30 on him, though. I really would. I think he's a good enough figure, and he comes with the right equipment. The paint apps are there. The articulation is there. There's, like I said, a couple little nitpicks that I have, but if you're into modern figures and you don't have them in your collection, I would try to hunt at least one of these down before they start becoming more and more scarce or more sought after, where he's going for 50 or 60, and then you're like, oh, I can't, I'm going to end up missing out on Recondo forever. So even if you pay 30, tops $35 is really pushing it. I don't normally like to recommend a figure that's 3 3/4 inch for more than $30, but I don't know. I mean, he's a good figure. I like him. He fits the scheme. If you're doing a jungle assault, you're definitely going to want to pick him up. So I would definitely recommend him. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you liked what I'm giving to you guys, please give me a thumbs up. If you like my content, if you want to give me a thumbs down, that's cool too, man. Just let me know how I can improve my content. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm always really curious as to what you guys think, not only about the character, but about my video quality and whatnot. And I promise you, soon enough, it'll be back to normal. But with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.